we are all equal, but apparently some people are more equal than others. I mean, I struggle with that.
This lady struggled through this whole exchange. She was like, the LGBTQ. What's that letter? She was like literally like all over the place. Like she was just like, like she didn't know where to go.
I understand the LGBTQ. Okay, the whole group. If they can choose who they wish to partner with, that is their choose. That is their choice. The part that I'm going to take issue with is that I am a woman. I was born that way. You cannot change that. So you are including people, if I understand this correctly, that are changing because that's their choice. I mean, they can do that, right?
Look, the whole thing is when she came to the conclusion, it's like, because she was the whole video. But when she finally got to the conclusion, it was like, well, if everyone's equal, then doesn't that make me less equal? How does that make any sense unless you feel like you're supposed to be above people? That's really the only thing that makes sense. You know that saying, when you're used to privilege, everything feels like oppression or something like that? That's exactly the case that this is here. This woman literally was stuttering the entire time she talked about this, as if she really didn't know what she wanted to say. And then the conclusion was, well, I'm not going to be as equal as everyone else if everyone's equal.
But now you're including people that were not born as girls. They're something else. So now they're being included. So the perception that I have is that now I'm potentially going to be excluded. Because now I'm coming up with that we are all equal, but apparently some people are more equal than others. I mean, I struggle with that.
And listen, nobody's perfect. There's plenty of criticism to go around for the right wing and the left wing. That's one of the beautiful things about what America's supposed to be, is we're supposed to have open discourse, right? But one of the key differences between the left and the right, especially right now, is what do you see in the left? People are trying to address healthcare inequalities, wage inequalities, change up the education system so that, one, it prepares people for the modern and future job market, and also an education system that people can afford. Really investing into our communities and our infrastructure. But right now, all the Republicans seem to be able to talk about is, oh, the big scary gay people, oh, the trans people, they're running around. Oh my God, not everybody in the world is heterosexual. But look, check this out, right? That ain't nothing new. That's been the case since the dawn of humanity. You can look back at any type of writing from civilizations from thousands of years ago, and there were gay people. And these same people who talk about like the Romans and the Greeks and stuff like that. Yeah, they got down. They got down. They weren't gay, they was extra gay. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just funny how these people who like always talk about traditionalism and masculinity in Western society and stuff like that. And then they point to like Rome and Greece and how they were the founders of democracy, Greece and stuff, right? But at the same time, they openly practiced being extremely gay, but they somehow look past all of those things.
I'll tell you my priority. Protect religious liberty, protect people of faith, and protect Americans who believe in the true meaning of marriage. I hope and pray that my colleagues will find the courage to join me in opposing this misguided and this dangerous bill. I yield back.
Listen, it doesn't matter if you're heterosexual, homosexual, if you're a transgender man or woman. It does not matter. You're a human being. You deserve love. You deserve to be treated with equality. And the biggest issue is that oftentimes the people who are the most adamant against the LGBTQ community, well, lo and behold, you catch them and they're doing the shanky-panky. I've never said that in my life, but I can't curse on here, so I had to say something. You know what I'm saying?
What it did to our children's math and reading levels is horrific. School closures brought them to the lowest levels in years. English 8th graders, math proficiency dropped by 7 points. Reading levels dropped by 2 points. There are 524 and 481.
That was Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's angry that America's public schools don't teach our kids to read no good. Now, judging by how much she just struggled with the numbers in her testimony, that might only be true for Marjorie's school.
524 and 481, this is over 1 million.
But the GOP's war on public education is no laughing matter.
Just this week, though, a new bill in the Florida House was proposed that would ban any funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives on campus, and it could allow for the removal of majors in critical race theory or gender studies.
With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis finally launching his much-threatened takeover of Florida's public schools and universities, some elected officials are saying enough is enough. Here's one Florida lawmaker who actually sees DeSantis' threats as the public danger they truly are.
House Bill 999 was filed on Thursday, and this is a devastating bill that would, as you noted, strip away academic freedom, abolish any conversations or programs about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and would go after tenure, trying to remove those professors that have some degree of freedom to express themselves and not be influenced by the politics of the day. Majority of my Republican colleagues have consented to Governor DeSantis' extreme hostile agenda. My hope is that when more students speak up, more alumni speak up, and faculty speak up, that we actually can try to stop these bills.
The Florida GOP's war on public education has taken on many forms, from banning AP African American studies in high schools to punishing insufficiently loyal college professors by stripping away their tenure. And DeSantis' big government authoritarianism is even rubbing some Republicans the wrong way.
Demanding that things be done a certain way, or that you can't say this or you can't say that. We've got to be really careful.
I know,
about.
Does it feel like you're going the other way? Like it's sort of like you're, on one hand, you've Governor DeSantis claiming, hey, I don't want all of this, but I'm going to tell you exactly what you can say, and I'm going to tell you what you can't say.
Well, I'm a small government, common sense conservative, and to me it sounds like big government and authoritarian. You have to agree with me, and I'm going to tell you what you can and can't do. So, but it's an issue. It's not the most important issue. I think more people are concerned about the economy, inflation. They're concerned about crime. But education's one of the things that we've got to talk about.
That was former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, one of the many Republicans considering running for president in 2024. Hogan has been vocal in criticizing the MAGA movement in the past, and he's right. There is absolutely nothing conservative about reshaping public education in a way that makes Ron DeSantis everyone's teacher. So let's look at exactly what powers Ron DeSantis is trying to give himself now. A bill introduced this week bans schools from teaching that America doesn't live up to, quote, the universal principles stated in the Declaration of Independence. That's right. If Florida history teachers want to keep their jobs, they'll teach that America has always been a shining beacon of liberty and justice for all, whether or not that's actually true. But things get even weirder. The bill also bans any teaching of, quote, unproven, theoretical, or exploratory content. If theories and exploration sound like the kind of things scientists like to do, you're right. And there's no room in Florida's new DeSantis-led education system for any tough conversations about all that nerdy science stuff. Unsurprisingly, Republicans have granted themselves power to decide what theories are real and which are unproven. That means no more gender studies, no more queer studies, LGBTQ history, or any courses that teach about the systemic injustices of racism. Instead, people like this will now get to decide what passes for good science.
Wyrick would later go on to help establish the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. Both have been extremely influential in the political and legislative arenas in the past 4 decades. Many of the views of these extreme evangelical leaders believe in dominionism and the Seven Mountains Mandate, which believes that they need to indoctrinate their religious beliefs into family, religion, education, media, entertainment, business, and government. This is a very extreme and dangerous right-wing religious ideology.
So how do Florida Republicans plan to enforce their new purity tests for public schools? At the college level, DeSantis is giving all firing decisions to each college's board of trustees, an unelected body made up entirely of people appointed by, you guessed it, Ron DeSantis. Under the new law, any trustee can demand an investigation and even removal of any teacher for any content that offends them. Yikes. It's not hard to see what's actually going on here. Capturing the public education system has been a major priority for the right for decades. Multiple studies have shown that the more education a student has, the more likely they are to reject Republican policies and politicians. Ron DeSantis wants to fix that. The sane lesson here would be for the GOP to clean up its cesspool of a party and actually do better for the American people. Instead, they've decided to just ban all the education that makes people dislike Republicans. In a very real sense, Republicans are doing their best to gerrymander our students' brains.